Everybody, my name is Nick Long. I'm the applications engineer here at Hexatronic. What I want to dive into or to talk about today is welcome to the Hexatronic Hour. This is where we are going to talk and explore on the Hexatronic solution. So this is going to be a series where we showcase what we are, where we're going, and how we can help you along your journey. So stay with me and let's get into this. What is Hexatronic? We are a total product solutions vendor. We supply all passive components for a complete fiber to the house network. So a little bit on that a little later. What I want to highlight today is our ABF tool. So this is an optimal tool for installing fiber to the house. So the concept or the idea behind this is it uses a technique where it takes it has a body that guides and feeds the fiber into the microduct, and it does this in combination with flow. So it uses, and that's in the form of compressed air. So the air floats the fiber, and the mechanical action or the feeding force pushes the fiber to its destination. So some of the key components that make this happen is, of course, your clutch, your rubber rings, your upper and lower fiber guides, your rubber nozzles. These are the things that grip on and grab onto the microduct, and of course the overall body itself. So with a well-maintained tool, you're expecting performance of 500 feet per minute or a blowing distance of around 3,300 feet. With that in mind, what I want to do is to kind of deep dive, do a maintenance kind of check, and see just kind of go through step by step what it takes to kind of maintain your tool. I'm going to start from the outside in. The first spot we're going to check is our clutch. So with the clutch, it's called a clutch or a torque limiter. So this is the main thing is ensuring that no damage is going to happen onto the fiber or when you're operating the tool. So a good measure is to always make sure that your clutch is calibrated. And to do this, you're going to determine that based on your fiber unit. So how to calibrate your clutch. So you do this by grabbing your owner's manual or your user's manual. And this is located inside of your main airborne fiber installation case. And this is going to be the red maintenance case on the top of the case. So under this case is going to be your user's manual, and then in the case itself you have your repair components. So when calibrating this clutch, it depends on your fiber unit. So if I'm using, for example, a two fiber unit, and I need to ensure that I am not putting too much torque pressure or feeding force on this fiber, I need to calibrate this clutch to match that setting. So the first thing you need to do is to grab the wheel, loosen this locking wheel. So we're going to loosen it up, and then after you loosen it up, refer to your owner's manual. So I know that for 2 fiber, I'm going to want about a 1/8 little nipple kind of sticking out the end, threaded rod at the end. So once I have set that, I'm going to lock down this clutch by relocking the locking wheel here. And with that is how you calibrate your clutch. So the next thing that I want to go towards is to taking a look at our rubber rings. So your rubber rings, these are the 2 things that are grabbing onto that fiber and then translating that feeding force in a direction. So when you remove your upper frame from the lower frame, you'll see that you have a upper and a lower fiber guide, and then within those 2 components you'll have your upper rubber ring and your lower rubber ring. So when you're looking at your rubber rings, how do you determine when you need to change them? A good indicator, I've got an example here for you. A good indicator is that when they start to turn a good kind of black and blue, start to deteriorate, they have a deep inset groove in it, that is a good indication that you need to swap out the rubber rings with your replacements. So, why is this important? Why is that groove showing up there? After use of the tool, a groove will start to appear, and that's going to hamper your ability to maintain your performance when using that tool. So that when the fiber comes across this rubber ring, it's going to set in this groove and not grab onto it. So it's just going to feed to the groove without actually translating that into the feeding force. So when swapping these out, you're immediately going to want to grab for your maintenance kit. So each ABF tool that you get has a case, and within that case has a maintenance kit. And inside this kit, you have your replacement rubber rings. Also, we provide some replacement nozzles, which I'll get to in a second, and your additional spare fiber guides, which is for your 12 fiber unit, and a couple other goodies as well. So let's say that you come to a point where you do need to replace your rubber rings. How do you get to them? So what we're going to do is start removing the lower guide and the upper guide from the frame. So let's start with the upper. So with the upper, you can see the rubber ring. It's actually right behind the fiber guide here, and we need to remove that. So what you're going to grab is your Allen key, and again, it's in your maintenance kit. Everything you need to repair this tool is in your maintenance kit. So what you're going to grab is your Allen key. There's a top screw right here that you're going to need to remove, and you just remove it. Save the screw, don't lose it. Once you remove this screw, you're going to start to remove. You can then remove your upper guide here. So I have one already pre-prepared already. So once you remove that upper guide, you're just going to remove the guide. This is your upper fiber guide, and you're going to want to pull your rubber wheel off its rack, off its holder here. So once you remove your upper fiber guide, you see how it's just hanging here. So that's exactly what you want. You then want to grab onto the frame, grab onto the wheel, and then pull. So that won't hurt at all. You're just removing the wheel from the frame, and you can replace it when you replace your rubber ring. So on this one, what we're doing here, again, you can either use a tool that doesn't scratch up the wheel, or even your hand, just to remove your rubber ring off the wheel, like so. And then, of course, with your new one, replacing it with your replacement. So after you do that, you're just going to repeat the steps in reverse. You're going to put back on your wheel onto the frame. But before you put this on, this is the next step you need to be aware of. So on your wheel, there's a magnet right here. That magnet needs to go to the side that has the notch in the frame. I mean, that magnet is almost like a peekaboo that's coming out of the frame that makes contact with the electronics in the motherboard or in the monitor. So that's going to track your how fast you're going and how far you've gone. So when you're replacing your wheel, take the magnet side and make sure it matches up with your the notch on the frame. Once you got that on the right side, place it back in its holder, and you're going to want to press it back into place. Should hear a snap or two snaps, and you're ready to go. So that's already back installed. We want to take our upper fiber guide, and we're wanting to reinstall it as well, just like so. And that is how you change out your upper fiber guide. So for the lower fiber guide, kind of take a look at that real quick. So with your lower fiber guide, it's the same kind of step, but there's an extra step involved. So what we're doing with our lower fiber guide, we are turning the tool, we're taking our hand, putting it on the lower fiber guide, turning it upside down, taking our Allen key, and then taking our Allen key and then you're aiming for this hole right here. This is where the screw is located for removing the fiber guide. It's right immediately in front of the trigger, immediately in front of the speed trigger here. So you're taking your 2.5 millimeter Allen key and then releasing the fiber guide from the frame. So after you have taken that out, let me show you what that looks like. You're going to be presented with something like this, where you have removed your lower fiber guide, and now you have access to the clutch. Let me actually do this so we can understand here. So we have access rubber ring now. But here's the important part that I want you to pay attention to. When you remove your lower fiber guide, check to make sure that your black O-ring is still in place, as well as there are 2 screws that go on this lower guide, here and here, that are inserted. That make sure that when you're replacing your lower fiber guide, that they are reinserted back into place. That's pretty crucial. So the next step, so removing your replacing your lower rubber ring. On this one, this is the last step you need it. You just need to remove this clutch from the main frame. What we're going to use is our smaller 2 millimeter Allen key. Again, everything you need is going to be in your maintenance kit. So what you're going to do is that there is hard to see on this one, but you're going to slide your Allen key right in the crevice between your monitor here and your rubber ring clutch. So there's an Allen key screw right there that you need to slide into, and then once you loosen that up, your clutch comes off. So that's how you gain access to your lower rubber ring and how to replace it. And just like with the rubber ring, you're just removing with a soft tool that doesn't scratch the clutch, or using it or getting it off with your hand. So that is how to check to make sure that your rubber rings are still functional, that you can still use it for continued use, for continued installs. And then going through the process when you determine that it is not viable anymore, you need to replace them, you know how to replace them now. So just as we've just done, we're just going to do everything in reverse. When you're putting back on this clutch, there is a slotted one side where it's a round spindle with one side as a flat area. You're going to want to make sure that your Allen key screw right here, you can probably see it right there, it's going to make contact with that flat surface. And then once you have that, you're just going to tighten down everything, just hand tighten it, that's all you need. You can even test it out to make sure that you're still good to go. And yep, we are. Once you have that, you can move on to the next step. So the next step you need to check, that's going to be your fiber guide. So with your fiber guides, what you're checking for is making sure that they're not dirty, they don't have anything sticking on them, they don't have mud crusted on them as well. So they're nice and clean. The groove that you see right here, that's in the very center, is nice and clear, so there's no kind of debris whatsoever inside of it that could impede your fiber blowing process. So you're going to want to check the condition of your fiber guides to make sure that they are clean, well maintained, and good to go for your next installation. So since we're on the fiber guides, let me go into your rubber nozzles. So these are what you have to grab onto your microduct. So if I were just to remove this real quick, so these are what you need to have for gripping onto your microduct. So again, their main job is to, when you have a duct that you're wanting to blow into or install fiber into, you need something that's able to clamp down and grab onto that microduct. And what this does is that this provides enough friction for you to lay the microduct inside this nozzle, and then with the combined effort of the lower and upper portions of the tool, you're able to close the clamp down and it will create a tight hold on it. So this grabs and grips onto the microduct and not allowing it to bust out or to blow out. So the next thing that I want you to pay attention to is the condition of your tool. So here, let me actually show you a good example of this. So what you want is a nice clean tool that doesn't bring anything into the fiber blowing process. So if I were to just zoom in right here, what you want to check is this main section right here. This is the clutch well, usually dirt, grime, whatever collects here. And then of course your contact right here on the monitor. So what you want to do is make sure that these areas are clean and free of debris. So a good way to do this is just taking some rubbing alcohol, getting in there with your hand or a rag, cleaning that area out, and making sure that there's no possible debris or contamination that's going to mess up your installation. So with those 5 checks that you can do to kind of maintain the performance of your tool, you're going to guarantee your performance. You're going to ensure that you're going to have a successful blow. Yeah, and with that is our airborne fiber installation tool. I'm happy and excited to have you work with this tool. I don't know if there's any questions, but I would love some questions. If you want, you can respond to the email that was sent to you. We have a whole team here, professionals waiting to answer your call. They're excited to get to engage with you, and of course you can speak to me as well, and we can kind of work through any kind of issue or find a solution for you. But if there's no questions, then thank you for joining me. Again, this is the Hexatronic Hour. This is going to be something where we can come together, gather, connect, talk about the solution, talk about your product, talk about your tool, figure out what it can do, test its performance, test the solution. So this is going to be a journey that we're going to go on continuously as a series to involve our customers. Again, my name is Nick Long. Thank you for joining the Hexatronic Hour.